Welcome to your 20s. Your 20s is full of expectations from others. Your dad, your mom wants to take a stable career in government. Your friends are all getting married left and right. And some of your classmates are currently in med school, traveling around the world, and everyone seems to have a different relationship with their 20s. Now you're thinking to yourself, what the heck am I supposed to do in my 20s? When you're in your 20s, there is this constant FOMO that just won't shut up. And on top of that, you feel this existential dread that you're meant for more, or you're meant to do more, and you're meant to be more. Why does being in your 20s feel like an absolute high, an absolute low, and just feeling like you're behind all the time? But what if I told you that being in your 20s is not about getting to the top? As much as we like to think that success is the most important thing in your 20s, we need to see this in a long-term way. Being in your 20s is about finding yourself, loving who you are, setting a foundation for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years. And that being in your 20s is literally one of the most important phases in your life, but not in the way that you think, not in the type of way where you're just focused on your career. Instead, being in your 20s is about planting seeds now so that you can grow into the best version of yourself in the long term. Here are all the timestamps in this video, and you can also find these timestamps in the description below. A lot of things that I hear from 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds who reminisce about their 20s, they all say the same thing. Number one, they say that they wish they took more risks in their 20s because there's so much on the line now. Number two, they wish they put themselves out there more. Whether it's going for a romantic partner, dating around a lot, or just simply putting yourself out there to be known. They felt a lot of fear in their 20s, and that stopped them from living their fullest life. And number three, they wish they didn't care about what people think. Now, I know what you must be thinking. Putting yourself out there more, taking risks, not caring about what people think, it's a lot easier said than done. But I want to talk about why it feels so hard for us to overcome these narratives. It all started back when we were children. Up until high school, your life has been an accumulation of decisions that other people have made for you. Teachers, principals, parents, guardians. These people, these adults, thought that they knew what was best for you. Parents, teachers, and societal expectations would teach us on how to make the right decisions, even if those decisions do not feel good to us. Like finding this kind of partner, going to this kind of school, studying this kind of degree, going for this kind of job. And putting fears in us about why we need to have jobs like this, why we need to date certain partners like this. And we lose our free will in the process because we feel like we always have to go for what's right. And now that you're out of high school, maybe you're in university, maybe you are in your late 20s, but it still feels really foreign, right? It feels like you're a little kid in an adult body, and sometimes you just don't know what to do. You're like, who put this kid in charge? Many people, even people beyond their 20s, are still operating in that conditioning where they're waiting for someone to fix things, or they're waiting for that adult to come in and change everything. But being in your 20s is not about doing the right thing based on what society says, but it's about breaking free of that noise and finding out who you are. That is the best way to live your 20s. The freedom of being in your 20s is that you get to reclaim the inner child dreams that you had when you were 8 years old. And now you actually are an adult, and you get to do things, you get to dress up, you get to travel, you get to live in a completely different city like how you had once envisioned yourself to do. Being in your 20s isn't just about living out your childhood dreams, but it's also about unlearning who you think you are. And it's about unlearning the expectations that have been forced upon you since you were a little girl. And this video is learning how to take charge of your own life again, being selfish so that you can live a full life, that you can start to reclaim your life again, take control of your power so you can do things that your childhood self wanted you to do. Being selfish isn't about intentionally hurting others. It's about being fiercely protective of the kind of woman you want to be, her goals, her vision, her expectations, her values for herself that she had written written. That's the script that she wrote for herself. You need to protect her at all costs. And sometimes it could come at a cost that people may not like you because people may be used to you being a doormat or used to you not respecting yourself and devaluing yourself. When you shift and change and you start being selfish of the type of woman you are becoming, there are going to be a lot of very unhappy people. And that's okay. We are not here to feed into their egos. We're here to nurture ourselves. When you learn how to be selfish and make selfish decisions in your life, you will instantly regain all of your power back. And this life force is the same life force that's going to attract you the right partner, the right friends. Why is being selfish so important in your 20s? It's important because when you master self-love, it determines the kind of opportunities you attract, the types of people that you date, the types of friends that you have, and the kind of wealth you're able to build. If you do not have self-love, if you do not prioritize yourself, if you do not see yourself as a high-value woman, it will be really hard to attract all the amazing things that you want. Confidence is currency. And you have to be confident in the selfish decisions that you're making. So let's dive into the selfish decisions that you need to make in your 20s so you can live a full and amazing life. The first selfish decision is you need to choose the city that you live in. The reason why is because your environment shapes you into the kind of individual you become. It's the people, the opportunities, the energy of the city. And if you've ever been to New York or a big city, you'll know what I mean by energy because you instantly feel like you can do anything you want. And you feel the sense of confidence that you can take on the world. That's the kind of energy that I'm talking about. And you can't find this energy everywhere. And being immersed in a city that gives you that sense of motivation, that gives you this drive to achieve more and to be more. That's the kind of city you want to immerse yourself in. Most of us didn't choose where we grew up. We were just born there. But even things like traveling on your own, living in a different city for a little bit, that can help you drastically change the box that you've been putting yourself in. And I seriously relate to this because I traveled around the world for 2 years. So I actually lived in so many different cities, so many different countries around the world. And I felt like I just lost this old identity, this version of me that had low self-worth, and this version of me that felt like I'll never be successful, this version of me that kept playing small. But as you travel, you realize that you can create yourself. You can create yourself into the type of version that you want to become. Traveling has made me feel more authentic as an individual and has made me feel this greater sense of confidence in what I can offer to the world. The city also reflects the types of people that you meet. The city that you choose should align with your values and align with the version of you that you want to become. What values matter to you? What kind of people do you want to surround yourself with? Do you want to be around big dreamers, go-getters, people that have bigger dreams for themselves and set higher expectations for themselves? Or do you want to stay around in a city where everyone is just going through the motions of life, don't really care about their future, are just eating snacks, staying at home, watching movies, and not really working towards their future? Do you really want to be in a city like that, where you are surrounded by people who are not motivated to take charge of their life? Choosing where you want to live should be based on your growth. It should not have anything to do with guilt or comfort. In your 20s, your main job is to grow and evolve. Don't waste these years staying stuck, or don't waste these years just trying to save money so you don't leave your hometown for a greater potential. A lot of common excuses that people make when they feel stuck, but yet they feel obligated to stay in their hometown is because, number one, they need to save up for a house or a mortgage. And I know life is crazy expensive right now, but the cost of not leaving your hometown and not leaving your family is far greater. The rent you're paying when you're living in a city that motivates you and brings the best out of you is going to pay you dividends, and it's going to pay you so much further. It's the network you're going to build, the kind of people you're going to meet, the kind of opportunities you land. And the rent that you're paying, you may be going paycheck to paycheck in the beginning, but later in life, it's going to pay you forward. The evolution that you are going to master and have is not something that you can put a price tag on. It is something that is deeply personal, but so deeply rewarding into setting the foundation of what your life is going to look like in 30, 40 years. Living in a big city is an investment. It's expensive being in a big city, but see this as an investment towards your growth. You are not just paying rent, but you are paying for access to greater opportunities, greater friendships, greater connections, and access to people who push you to be your next level version of you. Big cities are often filled with people who have big expectations and big goals for themselves. And when you stay in your hometown, you stay stuck in a comfort zone trap. It's like a caterpillar that never grows into a butterfly because the caterpillar is scared. What if it doesn't work out? What if I go to this new city and I won't be able to find a job and I won't be able to create a life for myself? And there are all these worries and concerns, but life is about embracing the unknown. You're not supposed to know what the next step is all the time. It's about embracing that you won't know the answers, but you just know in your gut that you're meant to be in the city because you are meant for more. Moving into a new city is about trusting that your wings work. It's trusting that your growth will help you support and it will allow you to fly and prosper. You are meant to fly, and you are not meant to stay stuck. The second selfish decision that you need to make is to choose solitude and high-value friendships rather than settling for low-value friendships. There is so much power when you learn how to love your own space and to love solitude. When you love yourself and when you love being in your own space and you love spending time with yourself, this natural aura will emit and you become so much more value-driven. The real friends, the types of people that love you for you, will only come to you when you love yourself for you. It's quite an amazing dynamic. When you are fulfilled alone, you tend to choose friends, even partners, from a place of abundance, not from a place of lack. So what do high-quality friendships look like? High-quality friendships is where you can be your authentic self. These are the types of people that cheer you on when you have wins, but they're also here to support you when things go bad. You don't feel like you need to protect yourself or try to claim a certain status to earn their respect, but you genuinely feel like you can show up as your true colors. Deeper friendships are not about simply just trauma dumping. Of course, it is okay to share your thoughts and feelings, but there's a really big difference between high-value relationships versus the kind of relationships where you trauma dump. A lot of people mistake having good friends and using their good friends as a way to trauma dump their life. When you trauma dump, you are not actually fixing the problem. You are not actively working on yourself, but you are wallowing in your pain. You are staying stuck in your cycles and in your subconscious programming. But instead, you are complaining about it with somebody else and expecting that person to hear you. And this is not a high-value relationship. If you have a relationship where you just trauma dump on each other, you just share your biggest problems with each other, you cannot see trauma dumping as the only way to have genuine connections. Yes, it is important to be vulnerable so you can create deeper connections, but you also have to recognize that there are so many other beautiful parts of you that make a friendship colorful. Deeper friendships isn't just about trauma dumping, but it's about being in a space where you can be your authentic self. Having only a very few fulfilling relationships is so much more fun and so much more amazing than having many surface level relationships. Choosing your friends wisely is very selfish because you are going to have to drop people without an explanation. You are going to have to start ghosting some of your old friends who have never been acting on your best interest. They may talk smack behind your back and they may not actually care about your well-being, but they feed onto your insecurities so that they can be more confident in themselves. You can't keep having these people drag you out and weigh you down. And sometimes ending these relationships, you don't have to explain yourself. If you don't have a circle of people, that's okay. You can create your own circle. You can add Lewis Howes in your circle. You can add Tony Robbins. You can add Dr. Huberman into your circle. And I remember going through this phase where I was completely alone, but how I spent my time and what kind of people I surrounded myself with, I chose podcasters, YouTubers that I wanted to have in my circle. They're like my dream circle. And the more that I I immersed myself in their content, the more brave I felt to become my authentic self, to claim what I loved, which was self-development, healing, spirituality, and I became a much more value-driven person, and that enabled me to attract my current circle today. So if you don't have a circle, it's okay. You can build your circle now through building an online community, or you can also have people that you look up to and frequently listen to their podcasts and YouTube videos and just immerse in their content so that you are being influenced positively into the person that you want to become. Solitude is also about spending more time alone so you can gain clarity about what is important to you. When you are choosing your friendships, never choose anyone based on their status. Because when you choose someone based on their status, they're going to choose you based on your status. And it's not a beautiful exchange because you are going to always expect something out of that friendship. And who wants to be in a relationship like that? Your self-worth isn't tied to how much money you have, what kind of position you have in society, but it's really about what you offer that is so unique and beautiful. And you have that in you, but it is up to you to figure out what that is. And the process of letting go of old friendships is going to be selfish, and it's going to also feel lonely. But your space is so sacred, and your environment and the kinds of people that you surround yourself with is what creates you as a human being. The world is so big. If you do not feel fulfilled in your friendships right now, that's okay. It takes a lot of work on the inside and a lot of honesty to get to the truth of who you are. And once you do achieve that, once you do end up getting to the truth of who you are, the friends that are meant to enter your life will naturally come to you. The next selfish decision you need to make is you need to choose your lifelong partner wisely. You need to be selfish when you're dating because you are not dating someone because you want validation, but you are in it for the long term. Many people stay in long-term relationships out of fear, out of guilt, out of shame, or even external pressures. When you are in your 20s, you are constantly evolving. And if I were to compare myself from my 20-year-old self to the kind of woman I am now, they're two completely different types of women. And we also need to open this up in relationships as well. If we've been dating someone since we were 16, and for some reason after 10 years, you guys are still dating, but you guys are growing in completely different directions, is this the type of relationship that is productive? Is this the type of relationship that is nurturing you to becoming your best self? And are you helping them achieve their best version of themselves as well? If you guys both want different things, if you guys have grown into different individuals, what is the best course so that you guys can both live as the greatest expressions of yourselves? So the first part to this is being a single girl in your 20s. And if you are single in your 20s, this is literally the best way for you to evolve as the woman that you want to be. As much as we can learn about relationships in books or YouTube videos, the greatest teacher is the man that you are sitting across from at a dinner table. Dating is not about finding the one, but dating is about finding what aspects in a person you value and what other aspects that you don't love so much. Approach dating with curiosity, not pressure. The more situationships or relationships that you enter, the more that you will learn what your type is, what your non-negotiables are, what things you value in a partner. And yes, people, maybe your mom, maybe your friends, are gonna judge you for dating around because you should be a good girl. You should only be settling with one guy and you shouldn't be going on that many dates. But trust me, the more dates you go on, the more knowledge you accumulate in the type of person and the type of man that you want to be with. Now, this is for my girlies that are in relationships, especially relationships that aren't going very well. You have to unlearn the sunk cost fallacy when it comes to relationships. Yes, you may have invested a lot of time, a lot of effort into making this relationship work, but at the end of the day, is he someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with? Is this someone that is truly helping you step into the next level of yourself? So if you have been in a relationship with this person for years, maybe they're a high school sweetheart, or maybe you went to university with them, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Have I truly grown with this person, or have I outgrown them? Am I staying in this relationship out of fear? Do I fear that I will never be able to find someone better? If you are unhappy, there are issues that you have tried addressing and you've addressed many times, but it still isn't working out, walking away is a selfish decision that you need to make. Your partner impacts your life trajectory way more than you think. So who you choose as a partner impacts your lifestyle, your ambitions, your life choices. So a supportive partner wants you to go for your dreams, wants to support you, but an unsupportive partner will only hold you back. Because we are so deeply intertwined with our partners, if they are deeply insecure people, if they are going through emotional tough times, if they are people that don't dream and they hold themselves back, they will subconsciously do the same with you and you will feel their energy rubbing off on you. And it is a harsh reality. And I understand that people go through depression. This is a really tough thing to say. If you are dealing with a partner who is dealing with mental illness, depression, and they are not actively seeking out help, if they're not going through therapy, if they're not actively working on themselves, I'm sorry, you have to make the selfish decision to leave. Yes, you guys may have gone through so much, and maybe you've helped him through a lot of tough times, and maybe you have this deep trauma bond, but you really have to fiercely protect the woman that you want to become. And if your partner is not taking the proactive steps to heal, to change, to grow, and to heal and move through this depression so he can show up with more love, then you are going to always have to put your life in the back burner. And it is selfish. But if you are not married to him, if you are not legally binded in some way, I do believe that you have to rip the Band-Aid and do it. The next selfish decision that you need to make is to choose purpose over a default career. Like a lot of things that I mentioned in this video, building your career is about planting a seed. And planting seeds, especially in our careers, take work. Getting your CPA takes a lot of work. Getting your law degree and passing the bar, that is also hard work. Starting a YouTube channel and getting past your fear of being judged, that is also hard work. But if you were to think about your life in 20 years, and if you've really made it to the top of whatever career you're pursuing right now, how fulfilled and happy are you going to be? If being a lawyer and working up to partner is something that you know you will feel fulfilled, then that is something absolutely worth working for. That is the type of hard that is worth it. But getting your CPA, for example, and being an accountant, that is also hard. It's not easy because your parents always say accountants always survive through economic downturns and you chose this career because it's stable. If you think about your life in 20 years and you're doing what you're doing now, how fulfilled are you going to be? Taking the safe path like getting your CPA, being a doctor, may seem hard, but it's actually less emotionally painful because society approves of these jobs. There's less judgment. There's more financial stability. But for jobs like being an influencer, starting your own business, starting a YouTube channel, these are very vulnerable endeavors because it offers no promises. And in fact, you also open yourself up to more scrutiny as well. But the cost of choosing a safe path that is stable is only going to take away more life force energy out of you. And it's going to take that magic, that twinkle in your eye that you once had. And it's going to drain you and you're going to feel more lethargic and you're going to feel less motivated and less purposeful in life. Working hard is important, but if we work hard on the wrong things, it will only lead to more suffering. Courage isn't about walking into a landmine. Courage is believing in your mission so much that you don't care about what people think. How you can use your 20s wisely is to redefine what success means to you. Not based on what society says, not based on what your parents say, but it is about what you value in this lifetime, what you want to create, what kind of impact you want to make. And you need to redefine success based on your own values and passions. Being in your 20s is the best time to take risks because you don't have kids, you probably don't have a mortgage, and you don't have a lot of financial weight pulling you down. The type of career that you choose today is like planting a seed. Think deeply on what kind of seed you want to build to grow. And if you have dreams of being an entrepreneur, if you have dreams of being a creator, start planting those seeds now. You don't have to quit your job immediately. You can do it on the side, build up your following, build up your subscriber count, or if you want to start a business, you can start doing that on the side. And as you build momentum, you will be able to grow that seed into a tree, and that tree will pay you back dividends later. But sometimes we do need a job to support our dreams. Going for your dreams also require financial stability. So just start small, start making content, start building up your business, and see where that takes you. Every action you take, whether it's the snacks that you eat, the games that you play, the amount of times you go to the gym, those are all seeds that you are planting every single day. And those small decisions make up the kind of person that you become and the kind of life you live down the road. The question that you have to ask yourself is, are the seeds that you're planting today draining you, or are they energizing you? The next decision that you need to make is to financially invest in yourself. Now, there are two parts to this. Self-investment is about nurturing yourself so that you can evolve as the woman that you want to be. A lot of women feel really guilty for putting themselves first because of conditioning from the past. We've always been taught to put others first, to put other people's feelings first, and to always put our own needs on the back burner. But self-investment is about putting yourself first and asking yourself what kind of things you need to be the best version of yourself. Investing in yourself now impacts your confidence, your opportunities, and also the relationships that you attract. It creates a ripple effect in all areas of your life. So some ideas on how you can invest in yourself is invest in courses or skills that you want to monetize or that you want to get better at. So this could be personal development courses. This could be personal finance and investing courses. Another thing that you can invest in is therapy. Therapy is expensive, and I do understand that the people who do need it most are the ones that cannot afford therapy, and it is tragic. So I would personally recommend using ChatGPT for therapy if you do need it, but I obviously highly recommend having a true professional to help you. But therapy has completely changed my life, and it has completely changed the way that I view myself, the way that I show up, the confidence that I have, and it is a very expensive investment. But you should see the cost of not working on yourself, the amount of opportunities that you miss, the amount of opportunities that you shut down, the types of people that you can be friends with. There are so many missed opportunities because we don't actively work on ourselves and we don't actively heal on the things that we need to heal. In the short term, therapy may not feel like it's working, but it is through every session where you are slowly shedding off these layers and you're slowly shedding off this old version of you that you thought you were. And you become so much more empowered and you make more empowered decisions because you're able to shed those old identities behind. A lot of people tend to waste their money, but a lot of people don't invest in themselves and they end up wasting their money on status goods. So buying LV bags and Gucci bags and wearing the trendiest clothing to establish a status that they want the world to see them as. A lot of this money is used on creating an illusion of success rather than actualizing the internal work that is required to becoming that successful person. And it's a very expensive lifestyle to keep up. If you're always investing in upkeep and you're always worried about how people are perceiving you as an individual, using that money to change someone's perception of you is a complete waste of time and a complete waste of money. Instead, use that to invest into being the best version of yourself. You take time to grow, and you may pop out a little sprout after watering it for a year or 2 years. But the more that you show up for the seed, which is yourself, and the more that you nurture it with the things, the courses, the therapy that enables and enhances your growth, that little sprout will turn into a tree. And again, it will grow apples and it will pay you forward. And this tree that you have grown, that you have worked so hard to build, you've worked so hard to heal all of your traumas, you've worked so hard to build self-awareness so you can live your life with full confidence. All of that work that you put into is the tree that you have built up. That tree will not grow immediately, but over time, it will bear fruit that sustains you. So the wealth, the opportunities, the network. Another part to financially investing yourself is investing in your financial future as well. And I talk so much about the importance of understanding financial literacy as a woman. Are you planning for your future self with the money that you are earning today? Many women feel obligated to help out with their families, to help out with their friends, to help out with their partners, but we never think about ourselves and our well-being for the future. This is where you have to be honest with yourself. What do I want in the future? Do I want to quit my job and travel the world? Do I want to take greater risk in my business? Do I want to own a home? All of these dreams will only be wishful thinking if we don't have a plan of action today. None of these things just happen. We need to plan for these things now. My tip for you is that whenever you receive a paycheck, before you pay for your wants and needs, take out 10% of that paycheck and invest it towards your future. And do that every single month for the rest of your life. See this 10% investment as paying your future self in the present moment. The last selfish decision is you need to set high standards for your life. People that you have grown up with, they're going to have a lot to say about your life decisions, and they're going to want to keep you in a box based on who they think you are. But being in your 20s is learning that you need to break out of people's expectations. When we set high standards, the one voice that comes up for a lot of people is, who are you to have that? Who are you to expect that? Who do you think you are? We make up all of these crazy conditions about who we need to be first in order to have what we want. Is it the way you look? Is it how smart you are? Is it the way you dress? Is it the neighborhood that you grew up in? But this takes a lot of work to decondition a lot of these prior conditions that we think we need to accomplish before we can have that very thing that we want. Setting high standards is not the hard part, but it's about working on yourself and working on your limiting beliefs that make it difficult. For example, you can have a list of 50 things that you want in a dream guy, but if that dream guy really came up to you one day, how likely is that guy gonna want to date you? How likely is he gonna want to stay in the long term for you? How likely is he gonna want to stay in this relationship? And these are questions that you need to ask yourself. We also need to grow and evolve so we can become that person. We can't blindly set high standards and high expectations for life if we are not doing the work as well. Life is a mirror. What is happening in our current reality is a reflection of what we think we deserve. But when we grow our inner standard, life will naturally reflect that back to us. Give yourself permission to ask for more, to want more, but you also have to be accountable with the work that you need to put in order to create this life for yourself. You deserve an amazing life. You deserve to have an amazing partner. You deserve to have amazing friends. You deserve to have a thriving career. You deserve to live in abundance and wealth. You deserve to have it all. Not everyone will love your growth. Not everyone will like the version that you're becoming. But the most important thing is, are you loving the person that you are becoming? But being in your 20s is all about being selfish. And the people that are going to blame you for being selfish, those people have so many limiting beliefs about themselves and what they're worthy of and what they're capable of. So we are approaching the end of this video. If you are currently in your 20s and you're lost and confused and you feel like you're falling behind, you are not alone, because everyone around you that is 20 years old also feels the same way. But if you want to get ahead, the most important thing is that you have to honor who you are and reclaim what success means to you. You have to fiercely protect this next version of you and build and work for the life that you want. What is one selfish decision that you are going to make in the next chapter of your life? I would love to hear in the comments below. If you want to catch my future videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye!